This is Joe Castello's WFO Radio Ignition, covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey, guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Castello.
WFO Radio. We are back in studio following the Coke Zero Sugar 400, or as some would say, the Firecracker 400, for the final time in NASCAR history. Myself, Giovanni Miami, back in studio. I am fresh back from New England Dragway, Boston area. And Giovanni, welcome. We're gathering at the beginning of the week.
Look at that. Back to the usual time slot.
Yeah. It's going to be, last week's show was fun. It was good. And we had Rich York on, got ready. Hopefully everybody had a great 4th of July. I had a great 4th of July. My 4th of July was spectacular. Up there in Boston, the North End. A lot of cool stuff. Got to see Paulie the White Guy up there. Just funny and fun stuff happened throughout the entire weekend up there in New England and Epping, New Hampshire with the National Hot Rod Association. That was fun. We'll get into that later. But 4th of July down here was super cool. But now we're back after 4th of July. We've got a first-time winner, Justin Haley, in the Cup Series. And that's an interesting story. Lightning in Florida. It's a thing.
Wow, what a strange thing.
Yeah.
Lightning in Florida.
Lightning in Florida. It's surprising that this doesn't happen more often, is the real answer. For those of you that know about Florida, just Google Florida and lightning, and you know that we got the most, right?
Yep.
We have the most lightning.
Well, I believe we have three. We are 3 times more likely to get struck by lightning than to win the lotto, than to win the Florida Lotto.
Yes, there's a lot of lightning.
So how about
in Florida.
that one?
So it was a stopped due to lightning and ultimately ended due to rain. And the bottom line is Justin Haley wins for the first time in his 3rd race, which is cool. We're going to get into all that. We'll talk about the race, talk about, obviously, the type of win. We'll hear from Justin Haley, a little audio that Gio has pulled. And then we'll talk a little New England Nationals and SportsCollision. And we'll get into that.
SportsCollision!
And we have a guest in studio.
The best part of the show within the show.
The show within the show, the SportsCollision. The best sports talk show on the planet. It's buried inside something else, so no one can find it. Perfect.
That's how we like it.
And we like to keep our takes to ourselves and a select private group of people that choose to listen. We're not going to promote our great stuff. You have to come find it, which is fine. That's why we have a nice intimate audience out there. And also in studio guest. What is it?
Once again, back-to-back
weeks. It used to
weeks.
be L.A. Vlad, but it's not L.A. Vlad, and it was NBC Sports Radio Vlad. It's no longer L.A. Vlad. It's South Florida Vlad once again. Welcome back. So I want to change your name, though.
I'm still NBC.
No, I think you're Sports Radio Vlad.
I'm Sports Radio Vlad?
Sports Radio Vlad.
Oh, the Amazing Vlad, as I was called in L.A.
The Amazing Vlad?
Yeah.
Is that like a
That's
stage
they
name?
don't know you that long.
Do we need to go with that?
Amazing Vladimir.
Amazing Vladimir?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I loved it.
I mean, I think you're amazing, and I think it's good for their show, and I will take it under advisement. I don't know. Can I change your name? Like
How about Vlad the Impaler?
The
or
Amazing
something like
Vlad.
that?
Yeah, Vlad the Inhaler.
I think Mo Howard called him that.
Yeah.
Vlad the Impaler. But Vlad is back. Sports Radio Vlad.
That's a doy.
The reason
By the way,
I'm
you said
calling-
Mo Howard. The reason why I'm laughing is because I worked with Mo Howard again.
I know. Oh, again.
Again.
And anyway, long story short is Sports Radio Vlad works in sports radio circles and has multiple sports radio jobs on multiple sports radio networks.
Platforms, yes.
And so to narrow you down to any one of them is impossible. And the fact that you no longer live in L.A. and you've relocated back to South Florida.
Yes.
But you're not South Florida Vlad.
No.
So that's why I'm going with Sports Radio Vlad. The Amazing Vlad, I think that has to be earned.
No, it's been
You've
earned.
said not here, though.
It's earned.
You're not
No.
amazing here.
I set a legacy to here that when I went to L.A., I was still, remembered, revered.
Revered. Well,
Yes.
You're always revered. We could
Right.
be
So
revered.
that's why, when
Revered
Vlad
Vlad.
returns, it's like, oh, the Amazing Vlad has returned.
The return of Vlad.
The return of the Amazing Vlad.
And this is the return of Vlad to South Florida lifestyle. And it's interesting because you've been back how long now?
3 months.
Wow, time flies. And I've seen you twice,
6 times.
3 times.
It's the first time I've seen
I
Gio.
see him since he comes back.
Yes. I haven't seen Paulie the White Guy yet.
He says he's coming down all the time.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, that's because Paulie's traveling all over the place.
Yeah. I saw Paulie the White Guy more than you have, and I saw him in Boston.
You saw him in Beantown.
It's amazing stuff. So we're going to get into all this and have a little fun. The Home Run Derby is on as we are recording the show, this edition of WFO Ignition, and we wanted to start a little bit earlier, but we got sucked up in the Home Run Derby.
That semifinal between Jock Peterson and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was one of the best one-on-one competitions I've ever seen in my life.
It was the entertainment value extremely high, watching these guys club the ball out of the stadium. Like, they've got this thing right now.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's light, they're having fun, goofing around, the kids are all out there, and the stadium is rocking. You're seeing nothing but bombs.
Jeez.
Right.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Chicks do dig the long ball. And the Major League
Or
Baseball,
is that
I give.
inappropriate of me to say?
Well, it's funny.
Maybe chicks.
I worry.
Maybe the terminology chicks, but the
baby
fans
chickens.
the fans love the long ball. They love home runs because you want to see something go 450, 500 feet because we don't think we can do it. The normal.
It's not even possible.
But to see these athletes able to do it, it gives us a good knowledge of what it takes to get to that level. And
no, it's like
it's ridiculous.
It's still probably the most dramatic single moment in sports.
It is right. What, the home run?
The home run.
Oh, listen, there's nothing more. It's one of the most exciting things. It's like the Hail Mary in football.
Yes.
The last minute shot in basketball. A walk-off home run is exciting, and it's like.
What about some sort of soccer moment?
Penalty kick.
Penalty kick.
I don't know. I don't think people like the penalty kick.
Yeah, I don't know if a penalty kick
Generally
is good.
speaking, no one likes it when the game is decided by penalty.
Overtime playoff
there
hockey.
Go, some overtime.
Sudden
But that's not like there's no set moment, like a home run, like a scoring a goal, I guess. I don't know. But you can't even see it sometimes. Sometimes it comes from far away. You don't know what just happened. It's rattling around. Home run, man. Always.
Listen. Home
They're
run.
not all created equal, but yeah.
Even a line drive shot. Bullet just sneaks over the fence. It's like people go crazy. When a kid reaches over and steals a home run, that enables you to win. That's great.
Jeffrey Meyer.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Jeffrey Meyer.
Doesn't happen anymore.
No.
But it's just an example of a great home run. A home run it's still the greatest single moment. And so what they have done is they've packaged like 246 of them into this hour and a half long show or whatever.
Well, basically what they do is they get
20.
8 guys.
At what?
Add another 20 because Pete Alonso just hit 20 and he hit the last home run. They were tied and he just hit the last home run, so he's moved on to the finals against Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And what's great for baseball because you have two rookies who are putting unbelievable display in the first half of the season, and they're putting on another unbelievable display during this home run derby. So, like I told Gio earlier, it seems like all the 4 sports in North America are in good hands, and so this is going to be an exciting final round.
I'm excited as well. I'm happy for the All-Star break. I was thinking about the people of England who saw that Red Sox-Yankees series and now have a total misconception of what baseball is.
Well, they were excited. They don't even know what they saw.
Yeah. I have a friend who was at the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
one of my NHRA, George, who works in the truck, who manages basically runs the board in the truck. He and his daughter were at the game.
Nice.
And they had a home run go. Didi's home run was like 4 seats over, 2 rows back. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I just learned about that this
I wonder
weekend.
if they would have been excited if it was like a 2-1 game.
No, of course not.
No, so I'm wondering.
That's
the
why
ball
it's a
is
misrepresentation of what baseball is.
Well, there's a lot of home. It's either you home run or strike out now in baseball. There's
But it's not
there's no
21-16 and 17-12 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
the highest scoring.
Well,
two-game
yeah, the
set
first
in
game was
Yankees.
definitely a football game. The second one was a little bit, wasn't that one like 12-8? I mean, you get those sometimes.
I think they were both double digits.
Well, there was 50 runs scored, and I think 29 were by the Yankees.
Yes, the final. Yeah, it was 29-21 for the two.
Whatever that was, it wasn't baseball. It was cool though.
It was something.
I loved it.
As long as we weren't on the losing end.
Right. Exactly. All right, let's get into it. We got our fantasy league as well, and just stories from the weekend, I'm sure. But let's talk Justin Haley and the racing at Daytona, really, because here's the thing. And I don't want to diminish anything that anybody does, but this is a roll of the dice victory, okay? I'm not going to, Justin Haley is the next great talent, and maybe he is, and we just get to know him because of this. But he seemed as surprised as anybody. He said in his winter interview right before, he goes, I didn't do anything. This was a gamble. They are not running for weekly points. They were on a totally different strategy. NASCAR goes, turns off the lights on the pace car. They're going to go one to go till green. Everybody has no choice but to play it straight up. They didn't have to play it straight up. They could have rolled the dice. But Justin was in a strategic position where they could, and they did. And the lightning stopped the race, and then the rain killed the race. And that's it. He's a winner. You know what? Good for him. I love that. I love the idea that they had the opportunity to take a shot, and it paid off. The gambling aspect of racing, which is true. There's sometimes you just got to roll the dice and try to do something. And they did it, and he won a race, and that's great. Now, is he ever going to win another race? We do not know. And
Trevor Bayne's still looking for his.
Well, but that was he won that race, thanks to Jeff Gordon being welded to his rear bumper.
Well, this kid won this race,
and
too.
the rain, because it didn't run
He was the leader.
His name was going to be in the record book.
When the race got called, he won the race.
Less of a...
His name
less skill was required here.
Okay, but if
then Trevor Bayne. Trevor Bayne demonstrated restrictor plate savvy on one given day.
Yes, okay.
This guy stayed out.
God, I want to say... I keep wanting to say
Eric
Kyle.
Almirola.
No, Busch.
Kyle Busch. Kurt Busch.
If Kurt Busch stays out and doesn't pit, and he wins the race, does he win the race, or is it a BS victory?
He wins the race.
Okay, so then what's the difference?
Well,
no name. You know what? Name recognition.
Name recognition, talent, ability.
That you just made a good point, Gio. Because if Kurt Busch wins it, nobody's going to take it away from Kurt because he's won many times before.
No matter what. First of all, BS victory. No one is saying that.
You just said it.
BS victory.
Kinda.
I didn't have to say BS victory.
Okay, I wasn't.
You're implying.
I was not. I was touching all around it, but I never went
putting
there.
An asterisk. I mean, you might as well put an asterisk.
Well, listen,
the quotation
did not go
marks.
to the full distance. The kid, how many laps did he lead? He led one lap. Come on. You know what I'm saying.
How many victories does Almirola have? Didn't he get a victory a couple years ago in the King's car, painted all King colors like this? Isn't that his only victory? I'm going to look it up.
It's not his only victory. Can't believe you don't have that right off the top. Anyway, Justin Haley wins the race. Good for him. Interesting, exciting. The fact that you can roll the dice, but the big one came when Austin Dillon crashes from the lead and takes out everybody.
My bad. He's got two. He won a race last year also.
Yeah,
but no.
I can't believe you're comparing Eric Almirola to Justin Haley.
I'm just trying to say
he
that
led one lap.
He's not the only guy.
But he led one lap. One lap. On those races, I guarantee, if you feel like going back, that they, at least battled for the win. That's what I'm saying. This is a total random occurrence. Call it what it is. Don't compare him to Eric Almirola. That's not fair to Eric Almirola, who led laps en route to they had a good race at least. Led some laps. But I digress. Yeah, no, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. It's just like you found out that Eric Almirola had more than one victory.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, you found him out. Justin Haley wins the race. William Lord Byron second. Jimmy Johnson third. Can we hear from Justin Haley about this great victory that he had?
Do we have to? I'm busy looking for this research here.
Save that for later.
He led 14 laps, so I'll just shut that up now.
There it is, man.
All right, let's hear from Justin.
As long as you lead the last lap of the race, it doesn't matter.
It's not my fault.
Well, it's hard. Obviously, Spire Motorsports is a new team, and they don't have much over there. So this is one of their only cars, and I junked their Talladega car, which Peter was pretty mad at me for. But I hope I made it up to you with this one. But it's hard because you have to stay close enough to the draft to stay with the draft. You can't lose it because then you go multiple laps down. But you have to stay far enough back that if the big one does occur, you can avoid it, which we did perfectly there on that last caution. So it's definitely kind of like a chess match of keeping a gap enough but not losing it. So strategically today, I was just riding around, and I would have been really happy with the lead lap finish. This is my only third Cup start ever, so there was no expectation to win. There wasn't even a thought in my mind I was really focused on the Xfinity race. When I finished second in that to Ross, it was a bummer, but happy for everyone at Colleague Racing. But to come over here with Spire Motorsports and do something pretty special with a new team is definitely unbelievable.
I wasn't really trying to win. I wasn't expecting to win. I really had never even thought about winning. I wasn't trying to win at all. I don't even understand how this happened. Eric Almirola did not say those things after he won. That's what I'm saying to you, okay? Not taking anything away. I think it's interesting. And what did he say about winning the race?
Well, it's hard.
Well, there it is.
It's hard to win.
It's hard.
Well, it's hard.
It's hard. Winning the race.
Well, it's hard.
There you have it, Justin Haley. And a lot of the discussion has been that good for the team, right? Young team. The amount of money, which they don't show us how much money they brought home anymore, but I bet it was, I don't know, $400,000, $250,000, $300,000.
Oh, I'd venture more than that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. At least to win they're not on the plan money and remember all that stuff that they used to have.
But they
I don't
did
know
win
how
the race,
they do
so they're
that.
going to get.
They won the race. They're going to get a very large sum of money that is going to be very helpful to them and their team. That's good.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. William Lord Byron was second. Jimmy Johnson third. Ty Dillon fourth.
Okay. If
I'm thinking about my fantasy league team.
I'm going to stop this argument. But if Byron wins the race, do we feel different than if this kid wins the race the same way?
Has Byron?
No, Byron's never won a race. Now, he is a full-time Cup
he drives
racer.
for Hendrick Motorsports.
And he has, right, okay.
It's different.
All right. Just saying.
You keep coming at me with them. I'll keep thinking about them.
Well, it's hard.
There it is. Ty Dillon fourth. Ryan Newman fifth. Corey LaJoie sixth. Eric Almirola seventh. Matt DiBenedetto. Matty D, baby. Matty D. Another top 10 in the eighth. Matt Tift ninth. And Kurt Busch 10th. Can't wait to see the fantasy.
Kurt Busch
I
was
got
furious.
None of these people. He was, but he doesn't really have the right to be furious. He doesn't. He did have the racing gods kind of serve him up a negative situation. But that happens all the time. Negative situations. They're going green. We're going green. Oh, wait. There's a piece of debris out there on the track. We're not going green. Hold them off one more lap. Oh, lightning. Oh, guess what? That's it. And it happens all the time. Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't have been angry. He can be angry, but it doesn't make it right or wrong. And apparently, Steve O'Donnell is talking about the policy. The policy is that if there is a lightning strike anywhere within 8 miles.
That is correct.
Doesn't that seem kind of far?
No.
8 miles?
Yes and no.
Like when I heard 8 miles,
it
just felt like that's pretty far.
As the crow flies.
You thought of Eminem?
I didn't know what his name was.
As the crow flies, it's actually a pretty far distance, yes.
Right, 8 miles.
But I guess for lightning, it doesn't seem like it. When you see the lightning strike and then you start counting when you hear the thunder.
Right, like in Poltergeist.
Right? You feel like if it's pretty close.
Man, that was scary. And then the clown comes up and tries to drag him under the bed.
Oh, man.
That was horrible. What was my mom thinking bringing me to see that? 8 miles, though. I would think that this would be happening way more often. How many times have we been within, 8 miles of lightning and it's not even raining? It's just lightning over there.
Well, that's happened a lot now more recently, especially here. It happened for that Hurricane football game where it never rained, but there was lightning in the area and the game got delayed like 3 hours.
They say it's the same
Gio,
policy.
that's a good point, Gio. College football will delay a game if they see any lightning.
No, in all sports now, it's outdoor sports, obviously.
Right.
If the closed building.
I think that happened in the U.S.-Jamaica game last week in the Gold Cup.
It happened in the soccer game a couple nights ago, in the U.S. Gold Cup soccer game, the men's.
I can tell you this past weekend at the NHRA, we pretty much stopped a session because lightning was coming. I had no clue, and I don't know if the 8 mile policy is our policy also.
Right. So
I'm going to ask though.
All these, all these other sports have enacted these policies. It's really for fan safety more than anything
for
else.
Insurance purposes.
Well, of course it is.
It's exactly what it is.
Not just insurance.
Insurance company. All right, you get this rate if you do the 8 mile policy, and if you do the 2 mile policy.
And I would say not only that, just think of if lightning does strike someplace like that, you're talking about, even in a small venue, tens of thousands, 10, 20, 50,000 fans just all of a sudden wild, berserk, crazy stuff going on.
I've been hit.
It's just not worth the you can see.
I
the
love
chaos.
that you're painting the picture, the picture with your mind of a stadium full of people getting struck by a bolt of lightning.
No, well,
Wow,
not
that's-
everybody, but if the lightning strikes close, and then you got people running. Well, you see, July 4th weekend, which you weren't here, there was an incident down at the Bayfront fireworks spectacular. I don't know if you guys might.
Too much news this weekekend with the earthquakes in California. We had a building explode over here, like a big giant building exploded in Plantation. What's this?
At the fireworks show in Bayfront, which is the big one that they have down here over there by the bay and by the basketball arena and Bayside and all that area. It was scheduled to be a 15 to 20-minute fireworks show, and about 5-6 minutes in, there was an incident where they found a package that appeared to be a suspicious package.
Okay.
And as the cops came, I guess with the fireworks stuff going on, there was a misunderstanding and people freaked out. And I've seen the video online. The fireworks, they cut off the show. The fireworks show ended, and there was just hundreds, maybe thousands of people running from Bayside and Bayfront Park like that. As you see them all over Twitter and all on video cameras, it looked like a mass of people just running from like a crazy event, like a shooter
horrible.
event, and it was really scary
Because that's how you get trampled.
And that's
what
really
they're
it.
saving. That's why they don't want that. You don't want that. Like you said, if it was only 2 or 3 miles, right?
Right.
And a lightning happens, you're gonna have a trampede. Like it's gonna be a whole bunch of people.
A trampede.
Yeah.
Trample.
It's like a stampede where a bunch of people get trampled.
But nonetheless,
trampede.
I was combining trample and stampede together.
Yes. Trampede.
Trampede.
Hey, write it down. That's a good one. That's a good word. Trampede.
But anyway, it's easy for people sitting at home who aren't there. And again, this was a race that was postponed from the day before, and now you're talking lightning and rain delays hours later. To complain, but I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old and slow, but these kind of things that are just like out of people's control,
You can't control Mother Nature. That's it.
Like
Come
that
on,
kind of
Kurt
stuff.
Busch.
I'm
This
not
is
going to
the
complain
first-
about that, and that just isn't good.
It's not
I
the
can't be
first
bothered
race you've
with
been rained
with
out.
rain.
Yeah, this is a business deal. Sorry, Kurt. 10th. And what happened? He said they took away one in 2014 as well. Do you remember the circumstances
No, I don't
of
remember that one.
No, I don't. We could look that up and delve into it, but we are going to elect to not.
Yeah,
Landon Castle 11th, J.J. Yaley 12th, Michael McDowell 13th. The real who's who at the top. That big one cleared out everybody. 14th, Kyle Busch. 15th, Bubba Wallace. 16th, Paul Menard. 17th, Chris Buescher. 18th, Daniel Hemrick. 19th, Brendan Gaughan. And now 20th on back. Everybody you know. Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman the Showman, Martin Truex Jr., Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who crashed from the lead. Joey Logano won the first stage. Denny Hamlin. Joey Gase, B.J. McLeod, Kevin Harvick, Ross Chastain rounding out the top 30. Rest of everybody. Parker Kligerman, Ryan Preece. Hey, this new kid who just won, Justin Haley. Ryan Preece, what are you laughing at? Ryan Preece reminds me of Rich York because Rich York and Ryan Preece are both from
looks like
Connecticut. Justin Haley looks like a skinny and younger Rich York. The guy we know.
Oh,
is
like the
chubbier.
guy that Rich that we know ate.
Yes, the initial, the first
Yes,
gen,
yes.
not this one.
You're talking about like circa 2004 Rich York.
The Rich York that I met.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's
what
like,
you're talking
this
about.
is
I
like
remember him.
what Rich York used to look like, not this new thing. And I'm kidding, by
this
the way.
new
That's
thing.
a joke,
That's messed
Rich.
up.
I know you're out there. I'm just teasing you. Austin Dillon, 33rd. Clint Boyer, 34th. Chase Elliott, 35th. Ryan Blaney. It's like an inverse who's who of the stars of NASCAR nowadays. Ryan Blaney, 36th. Quinn Hoff, David Reagan, Brad Keselowski, Daniel Suarez. Round out the field for the Coke Zero Sugar 400, the final firecracker. What about the racing, though? I liked it. Fans for Tapered Spacer, FFTS, like Gio said last week. I think you're onto something there. It was the racing that I saw, which in all honesty was the NASCAR in 15 recap. I heard the guys on NASCAR America talk about how great the racing was, and I went and I saw the NASCAR recap, and that is it. Why am I just getting to that? Well, I can tell you that I had a bit of a nightmare day flying all around from here to there and there to here and Fort Lauderdale and then back to Orlando, parked in Orlando for a little while. Just what do these people think that they're going to get up out of their seat and go confront the pilot and he's going to do something?
Wait, what happened?
Speaking of that,
What happened? Wait, what
Same
happened?
as Kurt Busch. Like, what's wrong with people?
I've heard it all now.
I started out the day in Boston. I was
Right,
in
you flew
Boston
out
for
from
4th of July. In
Logan?
New England. Logan, right? Stayed the night in Boston last night. Sat at the hotel bar, got ready, got up at 5, flew out at 8:15.
Okay.
Plane board 7:40. Goes to Philadelphia. Going great. Things are going great. Having a great day. First class upgrade.
Nice.
And it's happening so often now, first class upgrade. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe I won't have an alcoholic beverage this time. Whereas previously it was always like, get something, right? Get something. Get something out of this. Anyway, so then I get upgraded from Philadelphia. I go to Boston to Philadelphia, from Philadelphia to Fort Lauderdale. Upgraded again, the double upgrade.
Wow.
Awesome
doubled
stuff.
up.
And this time I got an alcoholic beverage, and I'm thinking, this is great. I'm going back
That's
to
good,
Fort
Joe.
Lauderdale. It was awesome.
You're not getting drunk early in the morning.
No. The day drinking is saved for special occasions. And so I'm feeling like this is great. I've got this, I got these earplugs in so I can listen to my headset, and I'm watching a movie. And I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and I watched Captain Marvel, and I hear him talking in the background. And I'm like, okay, yeah, man, we're going. I was like, well, just turn off the devices. And so I'll open the window, and I look. I'm like, where are we? This is not Fort Lauderdale area. There is no ocean. This is swamp. Where are we? And I look around and try to figure out where we are, and I made my guess. And then I asked the guy next to me, I was like, hey, man. Where are we? He's like, we're back in Orlando.
Back in Orlando.
Well, he goes, you're in Orlando. He goes, you were sleeping. We went to Fort Lauderdale. The same storm and lightning problem that we were just talking about, not the same storm, but a similar situation, closed the airport. And they flew around and around and around and around until we were running out of fuel, and we had to go to Orlando.
Why wouldn't you just go to Miami?
For Miami. This happened to me.
I mean, I gotta say, like,
Maybe
that seems
the storm.
I'm
I don't
sure
know.
there's a reason, but I mean, it seems ridiculous that they would fly.
They couldn't
Orlando,
take us in. Maybe couldn't take the extra
considerably
traffic.
further, but yeah.
They rerouted us.
This happened to me one time leaving to go to Los Angeles. Took Fort Lauderdale Airport, and something was going on, and instead of going back to the airport, they landed in Miami.
Real quick, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Wow.
Yeah. I was like, that's the quickest ride I've ever been to.
Yeah, that's like a 10-minute.
Yeah, but they couldn't, for some reason, they weren't able to land back in Fort Lauderdale, so they landed a plane in Miami. So don't understand why they didn't give you West Palm Beach or Miami.
Well, Palm Beach, I could imagine, because that's a small airport. But
Not that small.
It's not that
There's
small.
commercial flights,
Yeah, that's
big
true.
commercial flights out of
Yeah,
West
no,
Palm
it's
now.
just
Right.
not
So now
international.
I'm in Orlando, and I'm like, what is going on? But that's not the story. The story is when the people get up and go over and try to, like, cop a plea. Like, what are you doing? What's he going to do? What's he going to do for you? What's he going to do to make you feel better? Oh, you know what, sir? All right, I'm going to go back in there and fire it back up, and we'll bring you back to Fort
you know
Lauderdale.
what? You're
right. now.
You're right. I
What
made
are
a
you
mistake.
doing? Right. How does he make it right for you? And it wasn't just one person. It was like 3 people. They wanted to go have a word with the pilot, just to get things made right for them. And he did. He showed them the weather thing. He's like, look here. And then the pilot even had to say, well, I've only been doing this for 40 years.
Oh.
Well, I got to tell you, he's a nice guy, because I would have just told him that they could go F themselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm in charge.
He did. He did. That's when he said, I've been, flying for 40 years.
Well, I've only been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah.
But the fact that the guy had to say that at all is insanity, man.
I agree.
And anyway, so I end up landing at like 6 o'clock in Fort Lauderdale. The place is swamped, like people everywhere, thousands of them, all on top of each other.
Oh, really? That's an F8.
And coming off the plane, it was great. People were like, oh, my God, I bet you're so happy to be off the plane. So other people knew our story, our plight, what was happening, the people that were trapped on the plane flying around. And then, I got back here and everything's cool. Now we're doing the show. And that's the whole point of it, is that we today has been a crazy day, and Vlad has showed up, and we're going to get into a bunch of other stuff. If there is a bunch of other stuff. Is there a bunch of other stuff, Giovanni?
Well, you can tell us what happened in
There's
Boston.
a little bit of everything always
Yeah.
on this show. What do you
I
mean?
think so.
There's always a bunch of stuff.
But I mean, sporting stuff. There's no Formula One.
Well, there is this weekend. It's
But
going to
last
be the
weekend
Grand
was.
Prix of Britain? Great Britain?
Yes,
British Grand Prix.
British. This is a huge one. They've been promoting
Jeez.
the heck out of it.
Well, it's big. It's big. It's Lewis's home Grand Prix.
So true. I'm going to predict he bounces back with a big win. What say you, Giovanni? You think he's going to bounce back with a big win?
I don't know. I don't know if he, if Mercedes has enough for now. Max Verstappen and Ferrari.
What do you think the
it
odds
looks like
are?
Charles Leclerc had that race won.
What's the bet that Lewis wins? You got to bet 500 to win 100.
No, it's not.
But what do you think it is?
What do I really think it is?
Yeah.
Probably minus 120 to 150 in that neighborhood.
All right, I'm wondering.
Which means that you have to lay on
150
right.
to win 100.
Right. Generally, in most racing, though, it's either 2 or 3 to 1 at the worst. Like Dale Jr. at Daytona those days, it was 3 to 1.
3 to 1.
5 to 1, maybe.
I remember that.
Which means that if you bet $1, you win 5, as opposed to, I think, I'll let you know as we get close. You know what? I'll double check right now if it's out yet, but generally speaking, Lewis would be you have to bet 120 or 150 to win 100.
Got it. Well, I'm interested to see what it is because it's like an automatic lock for Lewis to win the race. You would.
Well,
think.
it is, but it isn't because otherwise, he would have won every race this year already.
Well, he did win all but one. All right.
See, no, there's nothing out just yet, but I'll let you know.
Like Sky Sports? Sky doesn't have it?
Well, I don't have Sky Sports gambling site on my
computer,
right?
It's not available?
Is Sky Sports like gambling site?
Yeah,
Sky,
it's the Sky Sports
Sky
site.
was like ESPN.
I thought they gambled too. Is really what I thought. I thought they also had odds. They are the ones that have like presidential odds and all kinds of weird odds. Look it up, though. You got plenty of time. I'm trying to figure out this new Fantasy League site, which is really challenging to figure out the weekly win, but I think I've got it.
Let me check if our site is up with the.
Because before we move on from NASCAR into free-form conversation.
It's not up yet.
Well, while you look for that, I will tell everybody about our great sponsors. Yes, this podcast happens because of great sponsors. The NHRA Nitro Show is going to be great this week. Steve Torrance, as he jets off to be a part of the ESPYs celebration and possibly win Best Driver. I can tell you that everybody that knows Steve has put in a full effort for him to win. They're taking it very seriously. And I don't know. Lewis Hamilton races on the ESPN network. Kind of feel like he's going to get it. But the NHRA people with the voting did all that they could. Steve winning, of course, race this past weekend over Scott Palmer, which is very cool. Did you notice the coffee we had is the Scott Palmer Racing Capco final round
blend? So I was right when I came in.
You were. No, Vlad, he smelled the coffee right away.
Yeah.
Didn't it smell great, Vlad?
It did. So I was like, wow. Are you that tired that you're making coffee? Because
yes.
The coffee was really
this isn't that
strong.
cheap crap that Bonnie buys at Publix.
No, it's a big difference. Well, but what the point is, the name of the blend is Scott Palmer Capco Final Round.
Yes, it is.
And those are the two teams that were actually in the final round this past weekend.
It's almost as if Marvin was clairvoyant.
And I found it when I arrived back home, and that's the only thing that enabled me to shake off the travel trouble so easily, was there's the box, what's in the box, we open the box, and there it is, the Scott Palmer Racing Capco Final Round Blend.
Yep. Well, there was more than one. But...
Yeah, but they were in the final round.
But that is the one that is the one that we consumed.
That's serendipity, is what that is. And it was great. It was great.
That was a good
It's
one.
Marvin Rodak, RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. Now, I will say that Marvin and I spoke about this last week. This wasn't out of nowhere. Oh, great.
Just
Look at
write it
Gio
down.
coming up with that.
I just remembered. I don't know why.
You still haven't seen Avenger Endgame, man.
One of these old movie reviews.
At least you saw Captain Marvel.
I just watched Captain Marvel on the plane today.
So that could lead. So that's good. You're up to date except for Endgame, right?
I'm going to watch Endgame
this week.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow after I finish NHRA Nitro, and I just go to the movie theater and I block out, drink some of that Scott Palmer Capco Final Round Blend, so then I'm up for 3 hours.
You need it.
And watch what happens. Because I've heard that it's long.
It's long.
But I've invested so much time with these people, I've got to see it before it gets out of the theater.
Before the Disney Channel, the Disney app.
And I can't see any of them. Right, exactly. All right, the weekly winner at the Coke Zero Sugar 400 in our WFO Radio Fantasy League is this possible, really? El Jefe. Had Kevin Harvick, Lord Byron, Ryan Newman, and Ty Dillon for a total of 306 points. That is low for a winner. Car 24 fan was second with 293. SRX2 Racing fourth. Sacramento Racing Fan, Easy E009, Day Racing 21, 826 guy, that's Marvin. Race Guitar, Miss Shift, Bent Valve, Little Low, and Los Chincones. all just ahead of Mr. Fantasy NASCAR. And just because I'm interested to see how I did or how Gio did. And we're just like scrolling and scrolling.
What happened to you guys, man? You guys used to be good.
Yeah, we have issues.
To say the least, we have issues. Oh, my gosh, I'm still scrolling and scrolling. We're under 200 points, Gio. Team Gray, 195.
Oh,
is that the name of your team?
That's
Grayson's
that's Grayson.
team.
Grayson has a better score than you guys?
Well, on the week, yeah, Gio in Miami, 128.
Wow, is that a record low? No, 75 I think is a record low.
But look, I haven't got to me yet.
Oh, boy.
What's going on here? I think I must have skipped myself by mistake.
Yeah,
This is not possible that I scored 0 points. What's going on? Well, I can't find myself. I hate this. I love when Patrick does the deal.
It's much easier, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, your score was terrible, Giovanni. It was horrible.
Thanks.
Wow.
That's what she says.
Well, but rightfully so. All the good racers got taken out in a big crash. And so when that happens, it becomes like, who had Justin Haley? WFO
Joe Boo.
226. WFO Joe, 226. That's
okay,
not
so
that's
wow,
not
that's
terrible.
Not very good.
I had Brad K, 39th. Kurt Busch, 10th. This stupid Lightning, man. Why do they got to do that? Steal it from Kurt. That would have been awesome. Kurt Busch, I had him, too. I had him. Steve O'Donnell, NASCAR, you guys are wrong. You're full of it. Now that it affects me, of course. All right, let's get to the overall score. That's what everybody cares about. The overall league standings. Full season. New leader. Bulls Wool takes the lead from Jambalaya J Racing, who is 5 points back, and it is a dogfight at the front. Bulls Wool, that's Phil from Down Under.
With kangaroos.
We've got a kangaroo down there. I think Phil is coming to, I think it's Phil. He's coming to the Las Vegas, and Phil Connor. I did that on the mic the other day.
Let's see.
I am good for the drop that 2 people get. And I'm proud of it, too.
Good for you.
It slides in. Everybody else just doesn't even notice it. And
I can't find my kangaroo sticker.
what did you ever find about the odds?
Oh, I do have odds results. Did you want to discuss that now or when we get to Formula One?
All right.
Are we doing Formula One?
Yeah, here it
now?
is. Phil. Oh, Phil's going to be at the I will be in U.S. for work week before Denver. Have organized to be at the races before flying back home. I'll see you in the winter circle. So he's coming to Denver, actually. Bulls Wool.
Wow.
I believe. I'm like 99% sure that Bulls Wool is Phil from Down Under. I like the way, just the way the language is used differently, though. Have organized to be at the races before flying back home. I know that's not exactly the way we would say it.
No, it's very polite.
It's extremely polite. All right, here we go. Bulls Wolf first. Jambalaya J Racing second. I can see our Almirola's. That's Steve the Trucker still hanging tough, tied with Mr. Fantasy NASCAR, who's climbing up into it. The Fantasy Sports Hall of Famer. Royal Flush Racing fifth. Bug Barn sixth. Rich and Saugus seventh. Tom Inc. eighth. Southern Racer X ninth. And Smothered and Covered, a past champ. All in the top 10, all less than 100 points back. It's close. Now on the fives. Elephant Racers 15th, just behind Patrick the Webmaster and ahead of El Jefe. 20th, Stubo. Super Gas Crew Chief 20th, just ahead of the Tennessee Money Man and the Dirty Hippies in a tight draft. 25th, Low Blinker Fluid. Is Low Blinker Fluid. It's 25th. 30th, Lowe's Chincones, just behind Willie B. Racing. 35th, Miller Man 2 Bryant, just behind Spider Monkey and Highline Real Fine. WFO Joe, 37th. Am I up spots? Am I down spots? It doesn't say. Doesn't give me that. 40th, Uper 1. 45th, Beats 1, just ahead of Hockey Dad. 50th, Northwest Nitro Fanatic. Where's Gio? Gio in Miami, Team Gray. I thought that Team Gray did an excellent job last week on the show, Giovanni. I thought, at first, found his groove and got going real well. Team Gray was on the show.
Now, did Gray actually pick?
He sat where you were on the show last week.
Wow, so that's why you said 2 special guest stars in back-to-back weeks.
Last week was Team Gray. We thought we were going to ramp up the show. We had Team Gray, and now we have Sports Radio Vlad.
The amazing Vlad.
The amazing Sports Radio Vlad.
That's too long. Whatever.
It's working for me. The amazing Sports Radio Vlad. Long nicknames are fun. 55th, JG24LKB. 56th is Team Gray. 57th, Gio in Miami. And that you guys are 1 point apart.
Gio and Team Gray?
Yes.
So he passed me? Is that what happened this week?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. What if the son beat the father?
Wow, I know.
He may not be allowed to go on his iPad.
Yeah,
for the
Gio
rest
just punish him so he can't set the team.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
No, that's not
it
true.
is messed up.
I have never punished him
messed up.
just so that he can't set the team.
Right, that would be unfair.
But, he
and
gets
unjust.
himself in trouble all the time, and the go-to thing is, well, he can't use his iPad.
And if he can't go use his iPad,
And if he can't go on his iPad, then
What do you think of that, Vlad?
That's parenting.
Shouldn't there be some sort of addendum for season-long endeavors?
Guy with no kids is gonna.
He
say
messes
that.
up on one given day. He's got to lose out on the whole season.
Yeah, that's how kids have to learn, bro.
You can't give this kid an inch, man. He's like, you give him an inch, he takes the whole arm.
Right, but
give
I
him an
wouldn't
inch, he wants a
you
foot.
ruin the whole season because
it
he
is
can't
what
get
it
on his
is.
iPad because
I'm telling you, you can't show any kind of weakness. You can't show anything with this kid, dude. He'll take it. If he sees weakness, he'll pounce on it.
That's it.
So then automatically he's going to be setting his team every day. You know how that works. Oh, yeah, I got to check my fantasy. Oh, I got to check the team.
Well,
I'm going to check the score.
You got to monitor it on a case-by-case basis. He should not go without setting a team and just lose because he didn't set a team.
He still has the team from the previous week. I'll make sure.
That's what I'm saying.
I try to
ends up
remind
at 0, and then he's out.
Well,
that would be unfair. Beer stole. The word beer followed by ISTOL. Beer stole.
Yeah.
Biristol, 60th. 65th, the New Hampshire Bucknut, 442. And there you have it, Fantasy League. I'd say it's looking pretty good here. You guys, we're all getting to the point where we're out of it. Do you want to have a conversation about the standings?
Well, we're halfway through.
One that we haven't.
About the Cup standings?
Yeah.
I guess they really don't matter. Guys that have a win, if you want to discuss who.
Well, the people who are on the brink.
The bottom of the standings.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the guys at the top of the standings because that genuinely does not matter. But the bottom of the standings, Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Paul Menard are out. They are out of the top 16, and so they need to get up in there. And honestly, the whole way the points are calculated is much more challenging to turn into, conversation fodder. It's about winning races, and when you get 16 drivers, we'll see. You got to win to get in. And so Ryan Newman, Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones, these guys got to win a race or keep being consistent. Chris Buescher up there, Austin Dillon 22nd, Ty Dillon 23rd. So there you go. I am ready to move on. Ready to move on there, Vladdy.
You guys bad, man.
What's going on in Home Run Derby?
Oh, Pete Alonso of the Mets beat Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Really?
Yes.
What was the final total?
23-22.
So they slowed down a little bit.
Vlad slowed down. I mean, the guy had to go, he went full 4 minutes in the semifinals, and then he had 2 extra 1-minute rounds against Jock Peterson. I think you're going to get tired, man.
I think you're going to get tired also. That is a very, very tiring deal. Taking these cuts. Giovanni?
Oh, those guys are wimps. I never get tired.
Yeah, right. Never.
Never.
Sure.
All right, let's do a segue into the Formula One stuff. What do you got? What are the odds, Lewis Hamilton? Were you right?
He's 5-6, which is bet 120 to win 100.
There you go.
Right.
So you nailed it.
I mean,
Man, that's almost like I like those odds. Well, maybe we'll see next week. Lewis Hamilton loses the race, somehow figures out how to, blow the home race. But this is how they build the casinos and all, and how the bookies get paid. But I feel like this is as close to a lock as there can be. It's a mortal lock. So let's see. This is the Yamama lock. You put down 120, and you're getting $100. You're lending them 120.
Get $220 back because you're dropping 100.
But that's the thing. You're lending them $120.
But they're holding
so
it
they
for
can
you,
hold
right?
it for you, and then give you $100 for doing it.
Yeah.
Like, how does Lewis Hamilton go out there and win every other race, with exception of last week, get a nice little wake-up call a week ago and blow his home race.
Maybe that's what he was waiting for.
Well, that's the thing. We'll see. Maybe it's good fodder on the show. But let's try to remember this for next week, Gio, because I just declared something a mortal lock. We should definitely remember to talk about it next week. All right. Haas F1 report.
Joe picks
Lewis
Hamilton.
Thick limb. Castello. Bold prediction.
Lock.
Mortal lock. It's a mortal lock.
Yo mama lock.
It is.
I gotta bring
it
that
is. Back. Like, there are few times where it's so definite and automatic that Lewis Hamilton is going to win. You put $120,000 down, you're going to get $100,000 back just for holding the money. It's a mortal lock. But, man, it would be great for Ferrari to get up in there and ruin it. Focused and determined is the best way to describe rich energy Haas F1 as it prepares for the 10th round of the 2019 FIA World Championship, the British Grand Prix, July 12th through 14th at Silverstone. Speed and qualifying, where drivers Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen regularly advance to the third and final round, has not recently translated to race pace. This has prevented Rich Energy Haas F1 team from scoring points in the last 3 races, which has dropped the fourth-year American squad to 9th in the constructor standings with 16 points, 1 point behind 8th place Toro Rosso, and 16 ahead of last place Williams. Now, I had someone tweet at me about Haas F1, like, should we be, disappointed? I don't think so. I think we should still be totally positive about the team and what they've done. This is definitely not good that they've kind of lost it right now, but they're not the only ones. And they're still totally ahead of where I ever expected they would be, really, at any point. Good enough to be worried about being confused.
Should we be disappointed with their season performance? Yes. Like, based on where they were last year, they'll tell you they're disappointed.
Absolutely, but it's not an
But I'm
indication
not disappointed in
some
the team
bigger...
overall, like...
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, USF1 is disappointing. No, they're having a disappointing... Oh, sorry, USF1. Haas.
You keep doing that.
What's wrong with me?
Well, USF1 was a really good name.
It really is.
It was a really good name. It's like you got 3 letters and a number. It's a good name. That Peter Windsor had that part right. USF1. It tells you all you need to know. Right there.
Right.
But he wasn't trying to pitch any...
But I'm disappointed in their season, just not in the team overall.
Got it.
Not in their... Yeah.
And so here are the quotes. Right? Here are the quotes. This is what everybody cares about. Gunther Steiner. No driver quotes. Gunther Steiner. The season has been a challenging one for the team, especially these last 2 races. It is the challenge with the car replicating the issues you've endured. This is the question. Or is it a matter of finding a consistent form from practice and qualifying to the race? It's a mix of it all. We need to understand why we have these deficiencies between qualifying and the race. Then we can work on it. At the moment, we're in search of the issues. They don't even know what's going on, which is where we were last week. Does the British Grand Prix, being a home race, provide an opportunity for the team to get its race cars back into the shop and allow for a deeper dive into the data you have to better understand why the Haas VF19 is performing the way it is? It's always good to be back at your base where you can work on the car better. But from the data side, there is no difference. Wherever we are in the world, we can do the same job. And so on. The British Grand Prix this weekend. Lewis Hamilton, mortal lock. You heard it here first. Don't bet your whole house, though. Don't go too crazy.
Here's my suggestion to anyone that likes to indulge in a little sports wagering. Only bet whatever you're willing to lose.
Yep. Scared money don't win no money.
Oh, there it is. I like that.
That's it. Only bet whatever you can afford to lose.
I like it.
There's our PSA for the...
5-horse is a mortal lock.
It's a mortal lock. It's a mortal lock.
5-horse is a mortal lock.
And, of course, it lost.
Of course.
Of course, it always, every mortal
like
lock
the mesh.
always loses. Like what?
Like the mesh.
In, what is that?
The
Bronxdale.
The mush.
The mush. Sorry, the mush.
You know, it was pretty recently that I saw Bronx Tale in its entirety. Do you know that, Vlad?
Really?
Yeah, this year. Within the last calendar
for the
year.
First time?
Yes.
Or you mean recently?
First time.
How could that
was
be?
when it slipped through.
Wow.
I just never got it. I don't know why.
That's Schmidt, boys.
Well, it's good though because I get to enjoy it now and later in life. It was brand new.
That's why that scene is great when the mush comes to the track and they're all rooting for their horse
and they
see that he bet on their horse. They just walk away. They all break their tickets and walk away.
Put him in the bathroom.
Yeah, that was brutal.
And you know a girl, if she really, if she's the one, if she opens the other side of the door for you.
Many, and I saw it one time. I got to go back and watch it again, but I could tell. Obviously, instant classic.
Yeah, De Niro. That was De Niro and Chaz. Palmieri, yeah. Palmieri, yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff, and that came out right around the same time as Goodfellas.
And Colangelo.
Yeah, the actor who played him could have been a little better. But
what do you mean? He was on.
And he was a little.
Sopranos.
And he was a little.
He was on Sopranos.
He was not a nice person to his little girlfriend there. Towards the end, got a little huffy. But that's the lesson of the deal. It was good. It was real good.
The beautiful Terrell Hicks. Or Terrell Hicks, maybe.
Yes.
That was the name.
So, of course, this past week, NHRA was up in New England.
How was it?
First of all, Boston on 4th of July. Left from Miami Airport on 4th of July, landed at noon, and went out, parked in airport parking, and went out into the city. It was great stuff. Did the whole...
You drove?
Quincy Market. Well, got to have a rental car.
Okay.
And went into the Quincy Market, myself and Team Mellow Yellow, Jason Logan. And we went to Black Rose, got beers, had some, various beers. That's where we met Paulie the White Guy. Went down and saw the tall ships. There was one tall ship, which was cool. And just people everywhere. It was just people out, people walking around, tourism, people everywhere, enjoying America, having a great day. Then we went to the Union Oyster House. And I went up and sat in the Kennedy booth. Yep.
Nice.
And there are guys that dress like all colonial, and there's lots of colonial stuff going on, but not as much as I would have liked. I would have loved more colonial stuff going on. Then we decided to go over to the North End and went to a place called La Familia Giorgio. Right? I think that's what it was. It was unbelievable. I had veal.
Italian?
Yeah, of course. It was incredible. Good stuff. Then went to Mike's Pastries, which is a must-hit place. And we're starting to slow down now because of the feeding, right? They like a huge meal, and now
the itis was kicking in. Yeah, the itis was kicking in.
But then right next door, the star of the whole show is this cappuccino I had.
Oh, I knew it. That's the only thing that's going to save you was caffeine, bro.
Of course. It was amazing. Like, it just was incredible. I could spend all day just eating there and feeding and feeding and feeding. And then drove up to Portsmouth. And began the race weekend.
How long was that ride?
About an hour, 50 minutes. Not bad. And then went out to the track, of course, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Had a lot of great moments, a lot of fun stuff. Good things happened. The prospect of a return to quarter mile was floated. We'll talk about that on NHRA Nitro. We're going to have Steve Torrance. We're going to have Matt Hagan on the show, hopefully. It's going to be really good. Alan Reinhart, all coming on the show. But really neat stuff and had a good time.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was. Like as a city.
Yeah, listen. Beantown is a great city. I just hate the sports teams.
I don't even hate the sports teams. No. I hate that they beat my teams.
No, I hate the sports teams.
Why is that?
Because there's New York-Boston beef.
Well, there's a huge beef. A lot of Yankee fans up there, though. A lot of New York hats. New York hats everywhere. Not as many as Boston hats, obviously, but a lot.
It's one of the weirdest things ever. There's a lot of Giants fans and Red Sox fans, and there are Yankee fans and Patriot fans over there in Boston.
Yeah, very. I don't understand.
It's weird.
I don't understand why. Once again, I want to just give a quick shout out to the people who support the NHRA Nitro Show. Samtech.edu, Marvin Road X, CoffeeandGrills.com, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, Magic Dry US. How about Scott Palmer getting to the final round? That's just awesome. And of course, Hussey Copper, HusseyPerformance.net. Great stuff. Yeah, everybody was rooting for Palmer to win. Steve Torrance wasn't, but Steve actually was. If it happened, it would have been acceptable. Instead, Steve wins his 7th race of the year and just continues this unbelievable run that he is on. So we'll get into that in NHRA Nitro. All right, time for Sports Collision, where Giovanni takes us on a grand tour through the world of sport.
Deportes.
Giovanni Deportes.
Sports Collision. Well,
You like that, Vlad? You like that, huh?
there's an actual sound effect.
I know
Sports
there
Collision,
is.
Except that, Joe doesn't play it any longer. But
You have access to the
nonetheless,
sound effect.
yeah, actually, I don't know where it is.
It's been misplaced, I think.
Well, same here. As we discussed earlier, the Home Run Derby was on today. This is All-Star Week, and the All-Star Game is tomorrow in Major League Baseball. Vlad Jr. lost to the Mets' Pete Alonso in the rookie battle. And interesting little tidbit here. As rookies, these guys make $550,000 each. The winner made $1 million
Wow.
just for the Home Run Derby. So
it's
they
worth
just
it.
doubled their yearly salary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, good way to go, Pete. In other news, in the Sports Collision, the Women's World Cup was on over the last few weeks, and the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team is once again the world champions, back-to-back. They won in 2015, and they won again this year. It's the first time that they win back-to-back.
Vlad, Sports Collision.
There it is.
That's it. That's the Sports
finally.
Collision sound
Wow.
effect. There's a couple of them, but that is the official Sports Collision sound effect. There's others.
And so,
There-
officially the women won a 2-0 game. It was very entertaining at the Gio household after we had breakfast and Sunday morning proceedings.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't watch round one eliminations from the New England Nationals?
No.
No, we
Wow.
did not because
No,
those
'cause he's
aren't
patriotic.
on live TV at that.
Very disappointing.
We are very patriotic, and we're watching the national team
Yes.
defeat the world
Yes.
at the World's game.
Yes.
How about that?
I love it. I'm actually troubled about it, though.
What is troubling about
Well,
it?
what's troubling is that I was around a lot of people that were, one, didn't care at all, like zero care. And number two, actually rooting against the United States. Several, many.
Well, those
Like, I
people
would-
are un-American.
Well, it was troubling to me. They have
Sexist.
They have their reasons. No, some of them were girls.
Oh, wow.
They hate women, too?
Some of them were girls, and I just couldn't really wrap my mind around it. And I asked a couple of questions. Of course, I have the greatest respect for people and the reasons why they do their things. Everybody's got things that they do and things that they think, opinions that they have, and you're not going to change them. And so it's best to just okay. But I don't get that, man. But yeah, man, a lot of negativity surrounding the women. A lot of negativity. I don't quite get it. It's the national team. It's the United States. They're repping all of us, win or lose. Now, there's obviously some stuff going on, political feuds, etc.
Of course.
But whatever. We keep it in the family, don't we?
Yeah.
We're going to root against ourselves?
Yeah.
We're going to root for the Netherlands? That doesn't make any sense to me. And whatever, it is what it is. Because guess what? They won. But I just, I'm not rooting against the United States.
So these women that were against the Team USA, the women's national team, would they also be upset that these women also wanted equal pay?
Well, I don't know. And you know what? Gio and I had this long exploratory conversation about the equal pay thing because I want to be on the whatever is right side of it, but I don't know what that is.
The right side is to be with the women's national team. They're the ones who are winning gold medal. They're winning
Well,
gold medals.
and
They're
that's
winning
that's
World
where
Cups.
that's where and here, listen. So let's go there. I can tell you my evolution on the whole thing. My first position was, well, the pie on the men's side is this giant pie, and so of course they're going to make more money of a giant pie than a lot of a tiny little pie, which is basically what we're talking about, giant pie or little pie. But then I started to think about what you're saying, Vlad. These girls are winning, and they're known, and they're selling all kinds of jerseys, and they're getting a lot of attention. And most importantly, they're winning, even though. And so what does equal pay mean? Yes, give them equal pay. I'm all for equal pay. Yes, equal pay for women. Yes. But then Giovanni here and I had a great discussion about it, and we did some
Preliminary research.
We did some research.
I found an even better article that I left up on your
as
on
much
your thing
research
there.
as gets done around here, and came down to the deal that the men's World Cup is 10 times the size in overall revenue.
But by the United States men, or are you just talking about overall World Cup?
Basically,
by the money that FIFA distributes.
Okay.
It's $300 million total and $38 million to the winning team, men, versus $30 million total for women
and $4 million
and
to the
$4
winning
million. So that's such a smaller pie. I thought to myself, well, maybe that's the reason.
No, but I think what the women are upset is that the United States men,
right,
what they're getting, and they're doing doo-doo. They're not even in comparison. Now, on the flip side, if I was going to argue for the men,
Washington Post,
yeah, that one.
Or not argue for the men, but argue for the side is that the women are the best athletes. Well, you're getting the United States women are probably the best. They're the best soccer players. They're the best athletes.
Yes,
they're the best
are.
women athletes
yes,
that the country can
correct.
provide. The best male athletes are not playing soccer. They're playing football. Well, they're playing the other football.
Right.
They're playing basketball.
Any one of many other sports.
Right. So, therefore, you got to give equal pay, man. Equal pay.
I agree, but okay.
If they're the best at what they're doing in that sport, you got to give them equal pay.
But okay.
They are superstars. Like,
vacuum.
let's just say this. Like, forget what you think of them or whatever they're doing or however they're acting, because there were a lot of moments here, where some people thought they were being a little cocky or whatever on the international stage. That's not what I'm talking about.
I love it.
See, you love it. Right.
I don't have a problem with that either.
You don't have a problem. A lot of people
keep drinking that tea, baby.
Well, whatever. The point is this. They are...
Costello, man.
Job,
F8 it, man. F8 it.
I did.
Okay.
I did it. Do I need to do multiple? No. So anyway, that is great, and I agree. These are big stars. These girls are all over the place. They are doing what any sports star is asked to do.
Right.
To win with some color, and fun, and dominate the competition. Mm-hmm. Okay, they are women, but what do we care? It's America.
But we care because it's been a continuance, They've been ever since the Mia Hamm, the Brandy Chastain.
Yeah, the 99ers.
The 99ers, right? Then they win again. This is their fourth World Cup victory. The men haven't even seen the round of 16.
I think they came in third place in like 1912.
It's disrespectful to
ignore it.
This is America being great.
Your grandfather was... But come on, man.
Look, again, here's the thing, and I don't know the particulars, but I did some research, a little preliminary research earlier here before the show, and the real issue is not just the pay structure, but they're two separate entities, U.S. women's national team and U.S. men's national team, in almost like with two separate collective bargaining agreements.
Okay.
And part of the issue is that the men, we ran into a lot of problems because they talk about overall compensation, and they're talking about how this men's player makes $6 million, but he's getting $6 million from his MLS team, and he's getting like $100,000 from U.S. Soccer, and they're saying that his total compensation is $6.1 million. And while that is accurate, he's only getting a small amount from his national team. And apparently what it is that the Women's Soccer League is subsidized by USA Soccer, whereas MLS and these other leagues that these men play in, like now we have that kid Christian Pulisic. He plays in Europe, and he's going to make like $40 million a year. He doesn't get that for playing on the national team, but it's included as part of his overall compensation, which kind of muddies the waters here. And so apparently the men's the vast majority of the men's compensation is still coming from their regular club teams. And I read there that the situation has actually gotten a little bit better because the women signed the new collective bargaining agreement a couple of years ago. Their previous collective bargaining agreement was definitely screwing them. Now, they're definitely not making on par dollar for dollar, but it all, they're going to have to agree on the whole where the overall compensation comes from. Because the women's national team claims that while it is in fact that article states that over the last few years and in World Cup years, they have generated either as much revenue or more than the men for USA Soccer, there's still something about the fact that where it shows if FIFA is paying the men's team more money to lose per match than they're paying the women's team to win per match, then, there's going to be a discrepancy in the compensation. You know what I mean? Okay, here, WNBA is never going to get paid the same as the NBA.
No, there's no interest.
Even though,
But there's no interest. There's a lack of interest.
Right, it's just a business thing. They're not making enough money to do it.
With the women's team.
Nationally, but worldwide, the men's tournament is 10 times the size.
Grant, I get that, but what the women, I get that. You're absolutely right.
And so that's so I don't know the full details, but if that's a reality of part of the compensation, then the men are always.
I think the United States women's national team wants the same amount of money that the United States men's national team.
Well, listen to this. Here's the lawsuit from the women's team sketched out the following scenario. If both teams played 20 friendlies in a year, a top-tier women's national team player would earn $164,320 less, or 38% of the compensation of a similar situated men's national team player. That was true under the previous collective bargaining agreement that ended in 2016. The fact checker obtained the new agreement, which took effect on April 2017, using the same 20-game scenario. We calculated the player on the women's team would earn $28,333 less, so it's gotten much better, or about 89% of the compensation of a similarly situated men's team player. If both teams lost all 20 games, the players would make the same amount. That's because the men earn a $5,000 bonus when they lose, and the women have a $100,000 base salary. USWNT players have previously said publicly that they believe this was the best agreement they could get without going on strike. The players' union negotiated these systems. This type of argument thus implicitly directs the women's players to blame their own union for negotiating a system that pays them in ways they find unacceptable. And, it goes on. This is a good story. Washington Post. It goes on and on and on.
Here, go to the bottom line right there.
The bottom line. When it comes to revenue from games, the women's national soccer team has held its own against men's teams since the 2015 World Cup. But games account for only 1/4 of the USSF revenue. Sponsorships make up half, and it's hard to determine what the women's team contributed to the USSF without more data. Are the women's players paid less? Sometimes. When the female players have appeared to make about the same or more money, they've had to turn in consistently outstanding performances on the world stage. Even with those feats, earning the same amount as the men's soccer players was nearly impossible under the previous collective bargaining agreement, which, by the way, is gone, so why are we talking about it? The new agreement has provisions that may reduce the differences in bonus for friendly games and tournaments, but there is, without question, for whatever reason, still a massive gap between men's and women World Cup bonuses.
And that's that comes from the revenue generated by through FIFA by the World Cup.
You offer bigger bonuses because you have more money to offer bonuses with.
And if that is in fact the way it is, then if the men's World Cup is 10 times the size of the women, no matter how much the women's team wins, it's going to be difficult for the compensation to be the same.
Right. And the best part is at least we're having the conversation because they're dominating.
Yes.
That's most important. And they are gaining ground. They're gaining ground rapidly. They're making some noise. They want this. The way it's looking, maybe they'll make more at some point.
And that's fine. I'm all for it.
They keep winning. They keep winning.
If they're winning, listen, if the women's team is if they're winning, they're bringing the trophy. They're bringing the hardware.
And yes, and that's what it all is about.
Vlad, but if the women's soccer tournament worldwide only generates $100 million and the men's generates $1 billion, then there is going to be a discrepancy in pay.
I got to say, though, I think that the women's tournament is growing rapidly. Not ever going to be bigger than the World Cup. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can see that the attention paid this time compared to last time compared to the time before,
I saw
going up
some
rapidly.
ratings, as I run through all the stuff, and the women's final in the U.S. did a better number than the men's World Cup final did last year. No,
because America was in it. There it is. It makes
right.
sense. It makes sense.
Again, but that's
right,
that's locally here.
We have to move on.
Anyway, so that was it. What else is going on?
It is obligated. We're not allowed to talk more than 5 minutes of Women's World Cup soccer.
Is it. Whoa,
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Wimbledon, Coco.
I don't know if that's a joke, Joe. I think you really feel that way.
It's a joke.
Sexist.
We'll move on to Wimbledon, where Coco, the South Florida sensation that was conquering England, finally lost. But it was still a great run by her. And
last week when I brought her up, I did not know she was a local girl to South Florida. I did not know that.
Delray Beach.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Very good. And NBA frenzy, free agent frenzy still continues.
The free agent frenzy.
Kawhi screwed the Lakers.
I wouldn't go that far. But you know
what? Why do you say that, Vlad?
By the way, that's karma for LeBron for when he screwed the Heat.
He ain't screwed the Heat.
Ooh.
He ain't screwed the Heat.
Burn.
But anyway, no, Kawhi, man, he has chosen, and he went to the Clippers, and he brought Paul George with him, and he has shown that he is the new master of the NBA. He is the puppet master, and he gets to make the decisions, and the league is waiting on him.
This is why I have to say that the league really, they hate LeBron.
Who is the best player in Los Angeles?
LeBron.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, I mean, LeBron is still the best player in the league like that in a macro sense, but no, I think right now the best player in the game is Kawhi Leonard. Sorry, Vlad. I love LeBron and all that, but, NBA careers are made in the postseason.
The reason why I say that is because, Kevin Durant was playing out of his mind.
He was, but Kevin Durant is hurt right now. I would have said that Kevin Durant was the best player in the league, and he proved,
even if Kawhi won the title, I would still say that,
But he had proven himself over the last few years in the playoffs, being playoff MVP. Not playoff, but Finals MVP, Final MVP 2 years in a row. And he was having another great playoff run before he got hurt.
Right.
And so, as NBA careers, really, you become a superstar by taking your team deep in the playoffs and being a stud in the playoffs. And Kawhi really was able to do that this year, as Kevin Durant was doing prior to his injury. But I know Kawhi, the one-man show, went to Toronto, brought a championship. And so while Toronto does lose out on the Kawhi sweepstakes, I think that the chance they took by bringing him there.
Oh, it works out.
It worked out.
It worked out. Look, you're not going to win any title with DeMar DeRozan, okay?
No, that's for sure.
You win a title. That's it.
That's it.
It worked.
He doesn't owe you anything.
Nope.
He doesn't owe you anything.
Even though he walks away and you pretty much get uncompensated, it was worth it. In my opinion, I think it's worth it. They won the title, and it shows
they're on the map as a world champion. They're on the map.
But what's funny is they're the only champion.
What is it? We be the North?
Yeah, we the North. We the North.
We the North.
We the North. We be the North.
We be the North. Clearly, you're already the North.
We the North.
We the North. But I think Gio and Joe, they're going to be the first championship team not to play on Christmas.
Oh,
wow.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Now that makes sense.
They're not going to be on Christmas. That's sad.
Well, we'll see.
I can tell you that the buzz, right? I judge a lot of things by buzz, like scuttlebutt that I hear. And I was at an event on Saturday night, and everybody was talking NBA free agency at the racetrack. Like the moves and the buzz and this guy and that guy, who the Lakers guy, who the Celtics guy.
I'm planning to write two pieces of about how LeBron, wherever you have LeBron James as, best player, greatest player, whatever, he is the most important player that the NBA has ever had, because he's the reason why athletes now run the sport. The athletes, the NBA players run the league. It is not the old boys that run. The old boys still pay the money. They still get the money. But guess what?
players decide where they want to go as opposed to being hoping
next
that
year,
some team will give them a check and let them go there.
LeBron was definitely on the forefront of the player empowerment movement, I would say. But the NBA, more than any of the other leagues, has always been a player's league.
They've been a play. No, they've been
player run.
They've been player friendly, I would say.
Yes.
They've been player friendly.
Now David Stern had a much harder, stronger pimp hand, so to speak.
Than Adam Silver
right?
Does. But it's a players' league
because now the commissioner is even a player commissioner.
The next move. You want to know when the next move is going to happen?
What's that?
Next year at the Summer Olympics.
What, would you think they're going to stop the league or something and go to the Summer Olympics?
No, that's when the next move. Remember, 2008 is the reason why Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and
I see what you're saying. Right.
2000, Kyrie and KD got together and joined the Brooklyn Nets because they were in the Olympics 2016, I believe. So, therefore, 2020 will be the next move, the next you got to wait. Whoever are playing, whoever you see chumming it up, being friendly, is going to be the next.
They're forming alliances.
Right. They're going to form the next alliance.
The survivor game that is the NBA.
Yes.
Wow, that is neat. Now, listen, it's cool that it happens. I think the players should be able to decide, what they feel like the best chemistry will be for them, and that's that.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the All-Star game, of course.
The Major League Baseball All-Star game.
Yeah, it's a very fun night. It's it's no longer, it's not meaningless. It still gets
this time it counts.
It counts, which a lot of people don't like the fact that World Series home field is connected to this.
It's no longer.
It's not this year. They got rid of that.
No, they got rid of that a few years ago.
Oh, there you go. Back to the old way then.
Yeah. No, it's been a few years now.
Midsummer Classic.
Look at Dr. Oz.
Celebrity games.
Yeah, celebrity games.
In Cleveland, I wasn't there. I was there not that long ago.
In Cleveland?
In Cleveland.
All right.
A couple weeks.
Nice.
It was neat. I like it. And
you
then
like
it
the
gets
Mistake
serious.
by the Lake?
Yeah. I mean, I really haven't got to party there, but I've been through there, and it's fine. It's nice. The people are nice. Everybody's friendly. But now it gets serious, though. After the All-Star break, things get real, and the quest for number 28 begins. New York Yankees need to win a World Series, gentlemen.
You got to win it soon, bro.
They have to win this year.
Yeah, we got to win it this year.
You want to hear something about the Red Sox fans?
What is it?
They're beaten back down again. I was talking to a lot of Red Sox fans, and they're like, woe is me, and oh, yeah, we,
Good.
It was.
Joe,
I was like, you guys are the world champs, man. They're
that's
like,
the best thing I've heard.
Suck.
That's the greatest thing I heard all week. I don't care. That's the best thing. I don't care.
They're beaten back down again.
I don't care what the heck. I don't care if I win I could win the lottery on Wednesday. But the best thing I've heard all week is that you're telling me Red Sox fans are in woe is me.
They were.
I love it because I couldn't stand their asses.
I felt like they were playing possum a little bit. Like it was a little bit exaggerated. I don't know. I'm worried about them coming back, Vlad.
Jesus. I hate New England.
Sports teams. The place, fantastic.
Could you
People,
imagine?
Fantastic.
Could
Food,
you imagine
fantastic.
if the Bruins and the Celtics won the title this
That's
year?
what they were talking. They were talking hockey. They were talking about the one championship that they didn't win.
Yeah,
It
good.
was neat. It was very weird.
Good.
The Yankees are 6.5 up on Tampa, 9 up on Boston. They're 30.5 up on Baltimore, just in case you're wondering.
Listen, Baltimore was eliminated from postseason chances the minute they took the field opening day. Okay?
Very, very difficult to repeat.
All right. Toronto was gone the minute they tied up the cleats and put on their uniform opening day.
Yeah.
It's a three-team race in the AL East, and got to give Tampa credit. Got to give
You
Tampa
have
credit.
to give Tampa credit. It's a miracle.
How do they do that?
With pennies. They do it. Great farm system.
Well, that's what
great
they are.
talent,
They're a great farm
talent
system for the whole league.
Great talent evaluators that can find some players young, and they can get them for cheap until they get really good, and then they'll leave to come to the Yankees or the Red Sox or better markets.
They grow them, and then
to be fair, all over they send them everywhere.
Yeah.
They send them everywhere. What's his name? Longoria ended up in San Francisco. They got their guys all over the league.
To Tampa, to Detroit, and then eventually went to Boston. Chris Archer's in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
They got
maybe
talent
they should
all
get
over the league.
nice new stadium.
They're going to Montreal.
What do you know about the split Sports Radio, Vlad? What do you know about the split team, the Tampa-Montreal Rays? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Okay, and?
That's terrible.
Well, I know it's terrible,
Just
but
move to Montreal.
Do you think it's going to happen?
Serious? Like, is that a serious proposal?
I don't think it's going to happen, but
they're kicking it around for real.
But
I don't think so. I told them that I think that that's just ownership throwing out there the thought that, hey, this team can move, because I don't believe that the Players Association would ever go for that. Just think about that.
Yeah,
like,
they would.
What
They would.
Their players
if
are
Montreal's got some money, yeah.
Yeah, but what, they're going to compensate the players double for having to have two residences, and who's going to pay for all this? I mean, think of the logistics. It's not just playing a weekend series in Montreal. Now these guys have to have two houses, one in Tampa, one in Montreal.
I believe
you just don't have a house up there. You would live in a hotel.
I think they were gonna. No, I think the owner is doing what. By the way, the 30-year anniversary of one of the greatest sports movies ever, Major League. I think that's what they're gonna do. I think that's what the owner's gonna do. The owner's gonna be like that terrible,
trying to move the team from Cleveland to Miami, right? But that's what I'm telling you. This is a play, to throw out there that this team is going to move.
Maybe this is what they need to do. Maybe the Marlins and the Rays should just merge into one team.
Well, I'm looking at the. Listen, here's what I'm doing. Okay?
One South Florida team.
Listen, here's what I'm doing.
That's funny, but it
is funny. It's not going to happen, but
it would
but that would work better than Montreal.
Yeah. Well, how about this though? The Rays just leave for Montreal. But then the new Montreal team goes into the National League. And the Marlins go into the AL East. And you just save why not?
Nah, we would kick Jeter's team's ass all the time.
How much fun would that be?
To kick Jeter's team's ass? We don't want
to see Boston and the New York Yankees here in South Florida 18 times.
Yes, 9 each.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Tampa Bay. I've never been to a Tampa Bay game.
I am going to one.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
You going to go over there?
I'm going to go to one.
But I've been trying to come up with a way to get the Marlins in the AL East since the very beginning.
It's not going to happen.
It was just bad luck.
This is the way Big Stein. It wasn't bad luck. This is the way Big Stein wanted it. That's why Tampa's got a team. Tampa Bay should never have had a team. But Big Stein went in there, and when they talked expansion, and he told them, you guys owe me, and you're going to put a team in Tampa. And they're going to be in the AL East, and it's just more games that he got to watch the Yankees sitting at home in Tampa and not have to go back and forth to New York. The reason the Tampa Bay Rays exist at all is because of Big Stein. And that's why they're in the AL East, and the Marlins are in the NL.
Okay, you can back that. Give me more than that.
Look
why
it
is
up.
that? Big Stein. But the first
Big Stein
year
lived in Tampa.
There was a lottery as to which team would go into the NL and the AL.
They didn't come in together.
I know. When the first team that was created
was the Marlins and the Rockies, and they both went to the National League.
Right.
And then
the
they
first
had
year of expansion was going to be National League expansion, and the second year of expansion was going to be American League expansion.
And it wasn't technically. That's when we got Arizona and Tampa Bay came in together.
So we got 3 National League teams and 1 American League team.
Remember, there used to only be 28 teams. And then it became, kind of weird, odd
30.
numbers and so forth. And
right.
Business-wise, it works so much better to have the Marlins
But
in
baseball has
the
never
AL
done
East.
things because things are business-wise and smart-wise.
Yeah.
All right? Remember, this also happened under Bud Light's
And by the way, why
watch.
put a team in the Yankees own Tampa anyway with their spring training? So it's just, I don't know. You say that, but it doesn't make sense. Just tell me. No, look it up. You tell me. We're doing a show.
Big
you know the
Stein
information.
wanted it. I'm telling you, and you
why
say
did
why?
he want it? What was the reason?
He just told you.
So he could sit home and watch games?
Yes, he didn't want to travel to New York all the time.
And he wanted a team for his area. He wanted Major League Baseball there.
The Yankees would come in and play against Tampa.
Yes.
Well, that's great.
Look it up. It's true. I'm not making this up.
No one suggests.
And by the way,
are.
when they came down to that, Tampa was like 4th or 5th in line of the cities that had, the things that Major League Baseball wanted,
right.
and demographics, and Fortune 500 companies,
people,
and all
places
that.
with
There's
money.
no Fortune 500 companies in Tampa. Tampa's an old retirement community,
and
practically.
They wanted also more teams in warm weather places.
Right. Well,
that's how.
Then they should be named the Stein
That's how
Brothers.
Arizona got a team.
But yeah, it's all because of Big Stein.
They should be called the Steinbrenners.
I mean, look, baseball under Bud Light did a lot of shady stuff. I'll never get over the whole, swap of the Red Sox for the Marlins and the Nationals, the old Expos that the baseball couldn't sell them, so they absorbed them until somebody can. They found a right buyer, and they just gave the Marlins to Loria and the Red Sox to the trader, what's his name, John Henry, the futures trader, commodities broker, whatever the hell he was. I mean, he still is. I mean, he still owns the Red Sox. And everybody made out like bandits. And baseball, look, just to the other day, they finally got rid of Loria and, and so forth. But, yeah, I was not a big fan of Commissioner Bud Light.
And just maybe they want to go back to the Canadian market. Maybe they felt bad for making the Expos go to the National.
I mean, but for all we know, do the Expos
can they support the team?
Can they really support a team?
That's what I'm saying. It's like
look, baseball died in Montreal with the 95.
Bernie went yard
with the 94 strike, with the strike of 94.
Bernie went yard.
What are you watching here,
Bernie
Vlad?
baseball.
Some sort of celebrity softball
all-star
game?
celebrity softball game that they have every time.
Yeah.
Every year before the all-star game, they have celebrities and former players. And our own Bernie Williams, the great Yankee, just went yard and just gave the world the 1915 lead over the mistake by the Lake Cleveland.
All right, I'm doing rudimentary research, and I am not finding any place that says, George Steinbrenner's the guy who greenlighted the team, and he's totally responsible.
Whoa.
That. Like,
no, Bud Light did all that at the.
Bud Selig and George Steinbrenner were best of friends, very good friends, and I do agree with Gio.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I'm not disputing it at all, but I just need a story. It's like, look it up. There's like a story I can look up, but there's not. It's like obviously something that had to be, followed along over the period. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The Rays being in the AL East doesn't help me at all. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help me. Tampa's a dead town. Nobody goes to the games. Every game that the Yankees are there, it's a wasted game because those people don't go. Here, it would be good for business. You'd have a lot of people go, as indicated by every time they come.
Yeah.
As indicated by every time they come. They go to Tampa, nobody goes. They come to Miami, we pack the stadium. Both teams, by the way. You get more Marlin fans out there to see the Yankees to root against them. You do. They get angry. They're out there. They're yelling. They're all in the face. The Marlins play good against the Yankees, by the way. It's a smart business decision. If you're going to contract the Rays or send them to Canada.
Well, they're not going to contract any team.
Well, if they're going to send them to Canada, which is what you're saying that they're going to do.
Remember that contraction talk?
Yes.
That there was talk of contraction prior to that, and Minnesota was going to be one of the teams, and they were going to contract. That. Whatever. I don't know. I don't want to get into it anymore. But
it'd be smart for baseball if they contracted the Florida teams into one.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that, though. How do you compensate the owners of the one that gets contracted? Maybe they don't want to be over here in Miami. That's the thing. It's impossible.
Yeah, they could do it.
I don't think you can contract. I don't think we've ever seen contraction.
Well, it's always
the move that Gio just said.
The
questionable move with the Expos and the Nationals.
There's always time to do
still
something.
Bothering him to this day. He never got over it. He said flat out, you never get over it.
Because that's
shady
stuff, man. That's shady stuff that goes on like that.
That's how the world works, man. That's how the world works. Shady stuff. Come on. You think that's the only shady stuff? There's all kinds of shady stuff going on. In fact, it's probably mostly shady stuff.
I mean, come on.
Like all big business, like really big business. Like, hey, could these two giant companies merge? Yeah, shady stuff.
Shadiness equals
45. Maybe they could merge. I don't know.
Shadiness
if the right people,
equals 45.
If the right people get a little money, I think we could maybe make it work.
Shady 45, baby.
Yeah. Well, listen, we stay away from all politics on the show, Vlad.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
you
say
don't
nothing.
know that.
I just said number.
I
didn't
understand your coded language, though. It's inappropriate.
No, it's not inappropriate.
What else, Giovanni? Let's hear as we get ready to get out of here. You said you have a movie review.
Yes, let's hear your movie review. Did you go see Spidey?
Yeah.
No,
I love you. The baseball talk like wore Gio out on the air. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I'm
done.
Looking for stuff, but
no, it's funny.
He was looking for stuff.
Well, this weekend, as it was very appropriate with the 4th of July weekend, I was flipping through the channels and Jaws came on.
Oh,
What?
Okay.
Oh, it's a movie. Okay.
Jaws movie.
And
All
I
right.
just wanted to point out that I once again sat there and sat through the whole, from start to finish, Jaws, and I was thinking to myself how scary it kind of still is.
So
even,
it's still aging very well.
even though the shark looks so fake and mechanical and all that. I realized just thinking, wow, I can see how in 1975 this scared the crap out of everybody.
Out of Gio. You were about to say out of Gio, and then you said everybody. Why don't you just say
Gio?
Gio?
I didn't
out of
watch that
Gio.
movie in 1975. I didn't watch it till
That's
many
a fact.
years later.
That's a fact. But
Oh, you didn't watch it when you were a little boy?
I was 2 years old when that movie came out.
All right, but how old were you when you first watched
I was
Jaws?
little.
Gio's parents weren't trying to scare their
I definitely
their
didn't
lovable
Like
child.
my mom did when she brought me to see Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I definitely
They're
didn't
not
watch
the
it
Costellos.
till it was out on the regular TV or whatever, because I never saw Jaws in the theaters. So,
Oh, you would have been.
and I doubt that you did too.
I don't know.
It would have never been out in the theater when you were 2 or 3.
I definitely-
I don't think your parents took a 3-year-old.
No,
Sort
it
of.
would have been in theaters, but I don't think they would have allowed their their parents to bring their.
I
children.
can certify for fact, absolute gospel
Was Jaws rated
fact,
R?
that I saw Jaws 3D in the theater.
Okay, but that was in the 80s. That was like, what, 83?
Come on, bro.
What? Jaws
the
3D,
80s.
man. The
That was
shark
the
chases
80s.
after him.
That was the
And then-
80s. All
and
right.
then remember when it? Did you see Jaws 3D
No.
with the 3D glasses?
No.
So you missed out. What about you? Did you see Jaws 3D with the 3D glasses in the theater? That's a big thing, man. That was a big blockbuster 3D moment at the time. There was one scene that was crazy. Remember, they were at like a SeaWorld type place,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the Jaws, they're underwater,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a giant glass wall that separates the shark and the tank, pretty much, from where you are. And the shark just swam right at the glass, and the glass broke, and it came in on you. And it was a really good 3D scene. That was the only good 3D scene. It was like a movie built around one scene, and the movie kind of stunk because no Brody.
Well, speaking of 3D, Spider-Man, you should go see it in 3D.
Which Spider-Man?
The new one that just came out.
I just watched the Spider-Man anime thing. Are you done with your movie review, Jaws? What happens in the
That
end?
was it.
The Jaws.
No, he just made it say like Jaws has aged very well over the
No,
years.
listen,
After
listen.
43
Here's the best
years.
part of Jaws. You want to hear the best part of Jaws? This is. I love Jaws. Jaws is unbelievable.
Okay.
Great movie. This is the best part of Jaws.
Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief. He was coming back from the island of Tinian to Leyte. Just delivered the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb. 1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about half an hour. Tiger, 13-footer. You know that when you're in the water, Chief? You tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail. What we didn't know was our bomb mission had been so secret, no distress signal had been sent. They didn't even list us overdue for a week. Very first light, Chief. Sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups. It's kind of like old squares in a battle, like you see in a calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo. And the idea was, shark comes to the nearest man, that man he start pounding and hollering and screaming. Sometimes the shark would go away. Sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you, right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. When he comes at you, he doesn't seem to be living until he bites you, and those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red, and in spite of all the pounding and the hollering, they all come in and they rip you to pieces.
And there it is. The Quint speech, the USS Indianapolis speech, is that was this black a doll's eye, like a black eye. Now you know why he hates sharks so much and has made a living of going out and, killing sharks.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
You're going to need a bigger boat. Quint, Captain of the Orca. Bartholomew Marion Quint was a grizzled, seasoned shark hunter who resided on the island of Amity, Massachusetts. Great stuff, Quint. All right, so you saw, portrayed by Robert Shaw, who I believe recently deceased. I think Robert Shaw passed away recently. But there you go, Jaws. All right, Gio, excellent work. Anything else? Throw out on the table? What?
Do you want me to tell you, really?
What? He's recently
Robert
deceased.
Shaw died August 28th, 1978.
What? That guy's been dead that long?
That's what it says here.
He's been dead for 41 years, and he died recently?
He died 3 years after the movie.
He died?
He died?
He died 3 years after the movie.
Fella.
Yeah. No, he did.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make fun, but,
terrible.
But
what do you mean? I thought
the funny part is you just saying that he died recently.
I swear, I thought I had heard that he had died recently.
That's
the
great,
guy who
though.
played Quint from Jaws. Obviously not. There it is. August 1978. English actor portrayed Quint in Jaws. Well, this guy is a hero. We love the Quint. I love the Quint. All right, what else? Anything else? You saw a movie. 4th of July.
That was it.
That's it.
Vlad? 4th of July.
I saw Shaft.
Okay.
The new Shaft movie. Do you know that
Sam Jackson?
Sam Jackson.
Vlad, but we only do old movie reviews around here.
Well,
Yeah, this is
that's
a
the
new
whole.
movie.
That's the whole fun part of it. That Joe recently saw some other old movie.
I had an old television review I watched on the plane.
Right,
I watched
you
an
see?
episode of Friends to see how if I would like it like I did back in the day because I enjoyed Friends a
And?
lot. No, I did not.
It didn't age well?
I think it aged very, very, very poorly.
Wow, no way.
I watched an episode from season 1 of Friends. I said, let me see if I still laugh at this. And I was angered and annoyed by the stupidity.
Okay. I got one for you then.
Yes.
I was at the great King of Nothing, Anthony's house,
Okay.
the other day, and saw the great movie with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines.
Running Scared.
Running Scared, of course.
Running Scared.
Running Scared. I didn't all this time I saw Running Scared, I forgot Jimmy Smits was the bad guy. Jimmy Smits was the bad guy.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't remember that.
I didn't remember that.
I remember they drove around in a taxi cab.
Oh, dude, when they had Jimmy Smith's Benz, and they were just driving around in his Benz, and he was like, "I want my Coke."
I love that Gregory Hines was like a big star.
Yeah, Gregory Hines was great.
He's a tap dancer guy.
He was a tap dancer.
Yeah.
Right. And Billy Crystal really looked like Billy Crystal was.
Billy Crystal was a big star.
Yeah.
Meg Ryan, Billy Crystal,
but-
Sleepless in Seattle. I mean, not Sleepless in Seattle. Harry and Sally.
Right.
Did their thing.
And he did Forget Paris and all of that. Yeah.
The movie that gets credited with inventing the rom-com, although that is not true. You know the real movie that invented the rom-com?
What was that?
I believe.
What was the first romantic
My
comedy?
opinion.
What was that?
Arthur. Dudley Moore
Yeah.
and Liza
Yeah.
Minnelli.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
I'll
know
give
what
it to you.
I think
I'm gonna give
Arthur
it to you.
came out
No,
before.
I'm going to give it to you. That was in the 70s. Arthur was like
I think it was like
early
81 or
80s.
something, yeah.
Late 70s, early 80s. But
I think it was
probably
before
early
when
80s.
Harry Met Sally.
No, you're absolutely right. I'll give it to you. You're absolutely right.
That was a rom-com, romantic comedy.
Well, what
Arthur
about Fletch?
Bach.
What about Fletch?
Fletch was not romantic. There was
think
nothing
that was
romantic
just a
about
comedy,
Fletch. Fletch was
period?
just a comedy.
There was
Arthur was a romantic comedy. They even had the song Christopher Cross. The whole thing.
No, I'll give it to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. See, I drop one every once in a while.
But, yeah, Running Scared. Great movie.
Running Scared, great movie. Check out Running Scared. There you go. Good job, Vlad. But you got to do it this way. Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal are detectives who are go undercover to try to find criminal Jimmy Smits.
Right.
And do it.
They came to Key West.
And they paid their cop car like a taxi cab.
And they came to Key West.
Oh, really?
Yes.
There's the Florida tie.
That's the Florida tie-in.
Fantastic.
There's always a Florida tie.
There's always a Florida tie. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Thank you very much for checking out the show. Sports Radio Vlad, the amazing. Thank you very much for stopping by. 2 weeks in a row, we've had an in-studio guest, Giovanni. Excellent work. Good stuff. And to all of you out there, NHRA Nitro this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have Steve Torrance. We're going to talk quarter mile, the big return. Is that happening? Do I think it should happen? We'll get into all of that.
Well, it's hard.
Yeah, Justin Haley. Congratulations. Cup Series winner. Won at Daytona, the final, Firecracker 400. Kind of sad. Lewis Hamilton. Mortal lock. We'll see.
The Your Mama lock.
The Your Mama lock, where you tell your bookie, your mama.
Well, it's hard.
Guaranteed. Except it never is guaranteed. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. We'll see you next time right here on WFO Radio.
WFO! The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
Yeah, welcome to the party.
Well, it's hard.
Bye, bye, bye.